In a little more than a decade, the impact of social media has gone from being an entertaining extra to a fully integrated part of nearly every aspect of daily life. Growth in the number of people who use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, as well as other social media platforms, and the time spent on them, has garnered interest and concern among policymakers, teachers, and parents about social media's impacts on our lives and psychological well-being. Over 3.96 billion people use social media today, which accounts for roughly half, 51%, of the global population. On average, global internet users spend 144 minutes on social media sites every day. In the United States specifically, people spend 2 hours and 3 minutes on social media each day. The total number of global social media users has surged by more than 10% over the past 12 months.
I would say a negative way that social media has impacted me is it's probably taken a toll on my grades, because every time I sit down to do my homework, I'll get a notification on my phone, and then it distracts me from my homework. I would say I spend a lot of time procrastinating on my phone so that I can avoid my schoolwork. I will say that social media has kept me connected with other people that like doing the same hobbies as me. Things like pottery or mermaiding or Disney. Love all the people that like all that stuff, so I like staying connected with them through Facebook and various other groups.
I feel like a lot of people only see the negatives of social media, but I actually see a lot of positives. I want to go into social media marketing in the future, so I spend a lot of time on these sites, more than most. And it's also kind of become a hobby for me because one of the things that I love to do is film, edit, and upload YouTube videos, and it's really fun for me. I also love to gain inspiration from social media. Seeing people that I admire post certain things about their lives motivates me to live my life in a similar way. Social media has also taught me a lot of things. While it's not a 100% reliable news organization, I have gained new perspectives on a multitude of topics from seeing people's social media posts about them. And honestly, some social media apps can just provide me with a good laugh when I'm feeling down, especially TikTok, for example. While I see many positives to social media, it can definitely still lead to some negatives. One negative that I see a lot of is comparisons, because people, like influencers, tend to only post the highlights of their life. I'm definitely guilty of comparing myself to others on social media, but I have learned when to catch myself and when to take breaks from the apps when things are getting overwhelming. Being a member of Gen Z, there is no doubt social media has had a significant impact on my life because I'm on it every day. And while there are some negatives, I think if people can learn to understand when they are feeling overwhelmed, social media can become a really positive influence on everyone, just like it has for me.
It's definitely changed my image on the world. Before I got social media and before I had to deal with the pressures of society, I thought life was this big, easy, unicorns and rainbows kind of world. But as I got older and I got onto the internet and I saw what was really going on in the world through news and through prompted news articles based on what I believe and what other people believe and just anything that comes through my feed, I see that it's not like that. So it's definitely changed my view on the world quite a bit, and it's really just changed my way of thinking as a human being. There's also the sense of my own personal image that's been affected. Of course, there's, models and all that kind of stuff that really gets to you sometimes, but you work through it, you figure it out. Social media has definitely changed my view on a lot of things happening in the world, and it made me realize how much our country and how much people of our country just really don't pay attention as much as I thought they did, and that there aren't, not everyone's a good person, and that's been a big game changer in my life. I would say the positives do outweigh the negatives for the most part. I've never been too super fond of social media. I don't use it every single day, and it's not something that I'm stuck to my screen for, but it is nice to take a look and see what everyone's up to, even in times like this where you can't really go outside and interact with people that you're close with. You can at least say oh, I'm glad they had a good day today. Maybe they did something fun. And if you do something fun, whether it's you baked awesome cookies or anything, you can just, put it out there for the world to see. And on social media platforms, more so I've noticed, like Facebook, a lot of times you post something and there's a lot of people that think differently and that are very, very rude for no reason. That's definitely one of the biggest downfalls, that people can say whatever they want through a screen and feel like they're the most powerful human being in the world. Social media is great for many, many reasons, and it helps everyone through day-to-day life, but there definitely are negatives. And even if it is personally more positive for me and I've had a more positive outlook on it than some, I do know a lot of people that would say the exact opposite. As long as you have your platform and you know who you care about, who cares about you, and you work positively, you're gonna more than likely have a positive outcome. And I'm glad that social media has come into my life, even though it kind of destroyed my image of the world. I'm glad that it is what it is.
At this point, social media has had such a huge impact on society that it seems like people couldn't live without it. However, with advantages, social media has had a number of disadvantages that have affected our lives. This includes the results of major problems having to do with mental health issues, insecurities about oneself, and addiction. One particular concern is whether time spent on social media sites is eating away at face-to-face time, a phenomenon known as social displacement. The social displacement theory states that more time you spend in the world of social media, the less time you're likely to spend socializing with people in the real world. This applies to both passive uses of social media, such as mindlessly scrolling, and active interaction, such as living for those little green circles that appear next to the names of your Facebook friends. Human beings yearn for connection and belonging. Numerous studies have linked social support to positive mental health. Additional studies have cited the negative emotional impact of loneliness. Research has further revealed people with fewer social relationships die earlier on average than those with more social relationships. Yet, with the rise of social media, there are many concerns that people appear to be substituting virtual online connections for the real-life social relationships. Social media facilitates quick and efficient communication. That quick and efficient communication helps you get more things done, but it's not as good as we expect the same in our personal face-to-face communication. It takes time to develop a relationship with a person, learn the deepest parts of them, as well as share the deepest parts of yourself. This is an essential part of forming deep and meaningful relationships, and it is getting lost as more people come to expect the superficial communication style used on social media. Face-to-face communication is an important facet of building deep relationships. The way humans communicate is much broader than a few words of text. Facial expressions, gesturing, presence, and tone of voice all play a role in fostering a deep connection with a person. It's really easy to misconstrue what people are trying to say through text because we often impose our own emotional state onto their words instead of being able to hear what the other person intended. It's good to have space to be able to miss people we care about from time to time. That is not to say that you cannot have a deep friendship with someone you know online. You certainly can. It's just harder to forge those relationships and keep them going for the long term. By focusing so much on this different set of skills that is required for social media socialization, one's interpersonal skills can lag behind and suffer greatly. Scrolling through social media all day is, unfortunately, not a hard habit to pick up. While these platforms can offer helpful resources, they can also lead to jealousy, mental health issues, and unrealistic expectations in relationships.
I would say that social media impacts my daily life because not only is it a great way to be able to stay connected with the people in my life and still continue relationships with people that you might not see every day, which is, a nice tool to have in our lives. But I feel like it's also made me very comparative with those people in my life as well because, social media is a way to showcase your life and the things that you're doing in your life, and it's sometimes hard not to, wonder why you're not on this path as well, or why someone might be in a way ahead of where you're supposed to be in life. So I feel like it can draw a lot of insecurities that way. I definitely think social media garners a lot of unrealistic expectations of what people are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be living their lives. It's just mainly so objective.
Definitely misconstrued the idea of what a relationship should be in my head. It doesn't really match up what you see on social media compared to what you actually experience in real life. It's definitely put into my head that they are supposed to be a certain way, or you are supposed to feel a specific kind of feeling for the person that you're with. And if it doesn't feel like it's the same feeling that somebody else is having, or you're perceiving that they're having, it makes you feel like your relationship is inadequate, or maybe you don't look ideal as a couple, or like how you think you're supposed to look as a couple. People are always saying, oh, you look so good together, but what does that mean? I noticed a lot of people that say, a lot of the couples that are told that they look so good together, they kind of just like look similar. And then it makes you think, am I supposed to be with somebody that looks similar to me? Or do you follow the opposites attract law and think that you're supposed to be with someone that looks completely different? Are you like, it makes you feel like, are you shallow for wanting certain things because that's what other people on social media have? It makes you feel like you're supposed to look and feel a certain way. And if you don't have that look, you feel like you're not as successful in your relationship as like someone else would be, or you see that they're already having children or getting married or something and you're not. And it makes you feel like, is my relationship not successful because we're not moving fast enough? Do I even want to move that fast? It makes you think you want things that maybe you don't actually need in your life.
Social media is not all bad, but if you find yourself comparing yourself or your relationship to what you are seeing online, it may be helpful to unfollow accounts that make you feel bad and focus more on real-life activities that make you feel empowered and strengthens your relationship with people.